Real mastery isn't found in a textbook. It's forged when you stop absorbing and start articulating. Many people assume that rote repetition is the gold standard for intelligence, but that is a dangerous illusion. True mental agility comes from dismantling a complex concept until it feels as fundamental as breathing. If you find yourself struggling to recall a fact under pressure, it isn't a memory failure, it is a failure of initial comprehension. Regurgitating definitions might help you pass a quiz, but it leaves you empty when life demands actual application. To truly own a thought, you must be able to vocalize it without the crutch of technical jargon. Knowledge is a tool to be wielded, not a burden to carry. Whenever you encounter a fresh piece of data, do not just file it away. Bring it into the light. Speak it into existence. Explain the mechanics of the idea as if your audience were a curious child. Whether you are alone in your kitchen, driving through traffic, or taking a morning stroll, turn your internal dialogue into external speech. When you can describe a mechanism with effortless fluidity, you have finally transitioned from a spectator to a master. Have you ever noticed that the most brilliant minds never hide behind dense vocabulary? There is a specific signal that reveals a person's depth of understanding, the capacity for extreme simplification. Obscure language is often a shield for the confused, whereas clarity is the hallmark of the expert. Let me be blunt. If the explanation feels convoluted, the understanding is incomplete. Reality doesn't care about your ability to use big words. It cares if you can navigate the underlying logic. When a topic feels like a tangled web of disconnected facts, the fault lies in your mental architecture. By translating that mess into a direct, streamlined narrative, you solidify the foundation. Simplicity doesn't strip away the value of information, it distills it into its most potent form. The more concise an idea becomes, the more permanent it stays in your psyche. Information should be an extension of your own intuition. History's most profound thinkers prioritized lucidity because they knew the brain thrives on structure, not clutter. By following this path, you move beyond the superficial accumulation of data points. To simplify is to understand, to master is to explain. Every time you vocalize a concept, you are essentially performing a stress test on your intellect. Think of your brain as an engine that only reaches peak efficiency when it is under load. Passive consumption, reading, watching, or listening, is like idling in neutral. The gears only truly engage when you are forced to produce. This is why teaching is the ultimate shortcut to genius. Even if you are just lecturing an empty room, you are shifting from a state of reception to a state of creation. This process acts like a spotlight, immediately identifying the dark corners of your ignorance. If you stumble or lose the thread of your logic, do not be frustrated. That gap is a gift. It shows you exactly where your foundation needs reinforcement. On the flip side, every successful explanation acts like mental cement. It bonds the information to your long-term memory in a way that passive review never could. This cycle of acquisition, verbalization, and refinement is the secret rhythm of high achievers. It turns your daily life into a laboratory for cognitive growth. Most people wait for the perfect environment to study, but a sharp mind utilizes the margins of the day. Whether you are standing in a queue or waiting for a meeting to start, these brief intervals are opportunities to rehearse your understanding. While others drown in digital distractions, you can use these moments to sharpen your perspective. You don't need a PhD or a quiet library, you just need the willingness to struggle through an explanation. Expect to hit walls. Expect to feel slightly foolish as you search for the right analogy. Those friction points are where the actual learning happens. Over time, this habit alters the way you perceive everything. You begin to automatically filter out the noise and hone in on the core essence of any problem. This approach is also a lethal weapon against the trap of procrastination. When a task feels overwhelming, it's usually because the path forward is blurry. By forcing yourself to explain the first step out loud, you break the paralysis of analysis. Speaking requires presence. It creates an immediate feedback loop that pulls your focus back to the now. You can even use your own voice to override your hesitation. By stating your intent clearly, declaring that you are moving, acting, and executing, you prime your nervous system for performance. Movement generates its own momentum. Once you hear yourself articulating a solution, the intimidation factor of the project vanishes. Complexity breeds fear, but clarity breeds courage. The world's most influential figures didn't wait for a lightning bolt of inspiration. They built their own momentum through constant clarification. They broke the universe down into manageable pieces until the monster became a roadmap. This is where you separate yourself from the average learner. The brain doesn't just store information, it recreates it. Through this method, you will find metaphors that are uniquely yours. You will discover connections that a textbook would never mention. You are no longer just a mirror reflecting someone else's thoughts. You are a lens through which knowledge is transformed. If you can explain orbital mechanics with a piece of fruit, or describe a business strategy through the lens of a sport, you have achieved true ownership. Stop being a parrot and start being a producer. Don't just absorb the world, reinvent it. This is the hallmark of the elite, and it is a standard you can start meeting today. If you commit to this daily ritual of self-teaching, the gap between you and the crowd will widen into a chasm. While others are cramming for exams only to forget the material by Monday, you will be building a permanent library of wisdom. You will possess a level of confidence that can only come from genuine mastery. It isn't about being born a genius, it is about having the discipline to simplify what others find complex. Most people won't do this because it requires effort, but for those who do, the rewards are limitless. Every session of vocalized learning is an investment in your future self. You are building an intellectual advantage that compounds over time. Information is the raw material, but clarity is the finished product. Make the decision today to never settle for good enough understanding. Join us at Hard Science Theory by hitting that like button if you're ready to sharpen your mind. Share your commitment by typing "I choose to learn like a genius" in the comments below. Let this be the moment you stop collecting data and start commanding it. Keep simplifying, keep teaching, and keep evolving. To truly understand the depth of this shift, we must look at how neural pathways are formed. When you merely read, your brain engages in a low-energy recognition task. It feels familiar, so you assume it is known. But familiarity is a liar. It is the reason you recognize a face but cannot recall the name. Vocalization, however, requires a high-energy synthesis. It forces your brain to retrieve isolated data points and weave them into a coherent narrative. This is the difference between looking at a map and actually driving the route. When you drive the route, the terrain becomes part of your internal geography. The same is true for your intellect. By speaking your thoughts, you are physically rewiring your brain for retention. You are creating a living, breathing connection to the material. This is why the greatest mentors always ask their students to put it in your own words. They aren't just checking if you paid attention, they are forcing you to engage in the act of creation. This is the fundamental truth of the human mind. We do not learn by receiving, we learn by producing. Think about the long-term implications of this habit. If you learn one new concept every day through vocalization, by the end of the year, you have 365 deep-rooted pillars of knowledge. Compare this to the person who reads a book a week but never explains the contents. Within a month, their retention drops to less than 10%. They have consumed a lot, but they have gained very little. You, on the other hand, are building a fortress of understanding. You are becoming a person who can walk into any room and speak with authority, because your authority isn't based on a script you memorized, but on a reality you have reconstructed. This is the path to becoming a reference point in your field. It is the path to becoming the person who others turn to when things get complicated, because they know you are the one who can make it simple. And in a world of noise, the person who provides clarity is the person who holds the power. Imagine a life where no subject is too daunting, where you can pick up a complex scientific paper, a dense philosophical treatise, or a technical manual, and within minutes begin to break it down.
That is the freedom that mastery provides. It removes the invisible ceilings on your potential. It allows you to pivot between industries, to solve problems that others haven't even identified, and to lead with a vision that is grounded in fundamental truths. This isn't just about passing tests or getting a promotion. It is about the quality of your internal world. It is about the sharpness of your perception and the depth of your insight. When you commit to this level of learning, you are committing to a life of perpetual growth. You are ensuring that every day you are becoming a more capable, more articulate, and more effective version of yourself.
So, as you go through your day, look for those small windows of time. Don't reach for your phone to check a notification. Instead, reach for a thought you encountered earlier. Wrestle with it. Turn it over in your mind, and then let it out through your voice. Feel the friction. Embrace the struggle. Because every time you find a simpler way to say something, you are finding a deeper way to know it. This is the genius way. This is the hard science of learning. It is simple, but it is not easy. It is accessible, but it requires discipline. But the result is a mind that is truly, undeniably yours. A mind that doesn't just store information, but masters it. A mind that can change the world because it finally understands how the world works. Take that first step now. Speak, explain, simplify, and watch as the world begins to open up to you in ways you never thought possible. You have the tools. You have the method. Now you just need to act. Let the transformation begin today. You are no longer just a student of the world. You are its architect. By explaining the architecture of reality, you learn how to build your own. This is the ultimate gift of the Feynman technique and the ultimate goal of hard science theory. We are here to provide the sparks, but you are the one who must carry the flame. Keep pushing the boundaries of what you think you know, and never stop asking why until the answer is so simple it becomes unforgettable. This is your journey toward excellence. It starts with a single word spoken with clarity. Make it count. Your future self will thank you for the effort you put in today. The road to mastery is long, but it is paved with the simple words of those who dared to explain. Be one of them. Be extraordinary. Be a genius.